power of movies on television, often referred to as the big picture, has impacted how we consume entertainment, making it an essential part of our lives. Not only that, the synergy of movies and TV has also grown to be lucrative for brands who want to reach India at large and impact the general consumers' daily lives. In a series of chats with marketers and media veterans, IndianTelevision.com discusses all things related to marketing, media, and especially movies. I'm your host, Anil Wanvari, founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief of the 25-year-old IndianTelevision.com group. And my guest today is, let's welcome him, Jaikishin Chapproo, Head of Media and PR at ITC, the conglomerate ITC. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Anil, good, and congratulations for 25 years, man. It just seems like yesterday.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. And it seems like yesterday to me also, but now it's all about you. And let's get down to you. Really appreciate your good wishes and your good regards. So, almost everyone in the industry knows you. You've been across so many sectors. You've been in advertising, you've been in marketing, you've been a student long ago. So, you've built a lot of relationships, but we'd like the audience to get to know you a little better. So let's start with your early life, about where you grew up and how was that experience?
So I'm a thoroughbred Bombaya, born and brought up in Bombay. Did my schooling, college in Bombay. So for the few who don't know too much about me, I'm an engineering graduate. Cleared my BE instrumentation in first class way back in '94. I worked as opposed that for a year as an engineer, marketing control valves. And then I realized that I can't do this for the rest of my life. And some of my friends were actually prepping up for MBA, and they used to, in office during lunchtime, they used to grab their lunch in a quick 10-15 minute window, and then they used to appear for those prep tests for CAT. So one such occasion, when I was sitting alone and one of my colleagues was actually doing this test, and I just picked up a book of the table and gave one aptitude test. And I didn't realize what level it was or what it was. And when the test got over, this guy started rating me, and he's like, looks like beginner's luck. You scored far better than me, and you did one level more advanced paper. I have not even reached there. So somewhere I said, yeah, itna simple hai kya MBA ka entrance. And so I just took his notes, photocopied them as it used to happen in those days. And next thing I know is I appeared for my entrance exams, and I got admission and got into my MBA. So I cleared from Somaya in '97. And intuitively, somewhere during my MBA course, I decided that I want to make a career in advertising, and chose media as a field. And I've been true to it since '97, if I would say so, and stayed true to my calling at that point of time. Dabbled a bit with marketing, dabbled a bit with outside FMCG, if I would call it, because out of 27 years that I've been working, almost 17, 18 years has been in FMCG, some time in broadcast and some time in e-com and telecom. So that's about it.
And how has the experience been?
Oh, so far it's good. Nothing to complain. I think even anecdotally, we keep hearing these statements saying that if you enjoy what you do, then it doesn't look like work. So I think for me, every day is like a fun time when I'm, even if I'm sitting at home and even opening up my laptop. The moment I get into the groove of my work, it's like I'm a different person. And most of my friends say the worst person to call during working hours is me, because my answers are just monosyllables, and my usual response is I'll call you back later.
Wow. Okay. So I believe that your engineering background really helped you in the career that you chose, which is media, because engineering teaches you how to break down everything into smaller pieces of problems and resolve them, find solutions, and move on.
See, somewhere education technically always helps you and aids you in whatever you do. So having a background in engineering just helps you be a far bit more analytical and comfortable with numbers. And I think from that perspective, it's been a bit of a comfort being in media, because there's a comfort with numbers, there's a comfort in terms of analyzing things, and I think then your experience ends up being your best teacher.
Fantastic. So while you were studying, was academics your forte, or were you heavily involved in extracurricular activities?
I was actually studio scared, and during school days, I used to be number one or two in class. And extracurriculars, yeah, I used to kind of dabble a bit into plays during my school days, and during college days, I used to do this Nukkad Natak and stuff like that. So yeah, so to that extent, extracurriculars were kind of a bit of sports and a theater, if I would call it.
So you did street theater, did you?
Yes.
What kind of plays?
Often I can't kind of recollect, but yeah, these used to be the typical plays that one kind of gets into during your campus days and in campus festivals and other things.
Okay, then going by that, you had a very cultural and a very artistic bent of mind. Why did you choose marketing? What is it that drew you to it? And why
Yeah,
marketing?
to be candid, when I was in my MBA, I actually taken up finance as an elective in the first year.
Yeah.
And since you kind of get into those subjects in the year two, uh, my senior batch in finance was struggling to get some decent jobs. I think it was a year wherein finance jobs were a bit tight to get into. And I realized most of my seniors were jumping into some tech-based roles or getting into marketing and stuff. And I was like, यार, इतना कर लिया है, and MBA के बाद you don't want to get into a scenario wherein you have to worry about कल का salary कहाँ से आएगा. So now, what are the broad recession-proof businesses that one can look at? And so there were two businesses that came to my mind. One was Indian weddings, and the other one was advertising. Unfortunately, the wedding market was not evolved at that point of time, and advertising seemed to be like one domain which seemed to be recession-proof to a certain extent. And as I said, since advertising came in as a calling, just kind of thought to do justice to my engineering, I'll kind of choose media as a field. So that's how I kind of got into it.
Great. And can you share some of your milestones so far that you've achieved, that you believe that you need to narrate? We'd love to hear them.
In the last 27 odd years, I think I've been lucky enough to work with very good organizations and very good bosses, if I would put in. So I started with a company called Plus Channel, which was into production of TV serials at that point of time on
That's
Doordarshan.
Amit Khanna and Dilip Piramal.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
Mahesh Bhatt.
That's right. So in fact, the known shows from the production team were Swabiman, Mouthful of Skies, and stuff like that. So I was into back-end research and acquisitions for new serials that the company would go kind of put on air. Interesting days, because the fun used to be to kind of work on the movies that were being aired on Friday nights and Saturday nights on DD. So 3 hour movie would actually last you 4.5 hours, and you kind of the fun used to be like Wednesday night or Thursday night, we would be in the studios through the night trying to kind of edit the movie so that the ads can be placed. And the fun used to be there used to be contests that used to go. You would get Maruti car if you answered the questions with which was related to the sequence of ads or something about some ads and all. So again, this I'm talking about 97, 98. And from there, I moved to Wipro at a point in time when Wipro was undergoing the change of their corporate identity to the new sunflower logo. And so the initial support was with regards to launching the new corporate identity, and then getting into the consumer division with Santur and handling media for the consumer division. Then I moved to Godrej, then Unilever. Then I moved to Nokia in the Middle East. Continued with Star in Middle East as the head of marketing for Middle East and Africa. Moved back to India with Star, and then Snapdeal and ITC. So it's been a good run so far. See, in terms of milestones per se, not much, but I think I remember one statement that one of my bosses from my ex-company used to say. He always used to say that if you think you're very good, then you should join Unilever. And the day I joined Lever, I actually dropped him a message saying, "Sir, thank you for your encouragement. I've joined Unilever today."
And what was his
So
response?
that's it.
Her response.
No, no, he just sent me all the best. Do good, make us proud.
Excellent. So, and and also I remember bumping into you when you were at Godrej and you were fantastic
That's
enough
right.
to come on board at the Sahyadri Navratna Puruskar. You were at
That's right.
Godrej,
That's right. Yeah.
and you stitched together that deal, which was, I think you ran for almost 15 years or so.
Yeah, I think it was a good property if I recollect it well. Yeah, and we did
Absolutely.
it at Centaur. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You were a fabulous support and negotiator, both, of course. Anyway, what have been some of the memorable campaigns you've been a part of over the years?
We did the first of its kind advertiser funded feature film for one of the brands. This was for Surf, I think. Uh, the concept or the background was that Surf had come with this platform called Each Child Has a Right.
Okay.
And there was this so concept came in from one of the renowned filmmakers, and we liked the concept, and we just tweaked it around, and we released a movie around it. It had a satellite release, and the movie was called Dhoomkata, which had the story was revolving around a kid and stuff like that. So interesting stuff here.
So, are you a movie buff? I believe you like movies a lot, and do you enjoy watching Hindi cinema a lot? And your
Yeah,
favorite actor?
I'm a hardcore movie buff, and actually, my colleagues and team members will kind of validate it. There are umpteen times I actually take up examples from Bollywood, and I would actually pick up references from movies which uh, probably people would have watched it, forgotten about it, but when you kind of narrate that example, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, I remember this, and stuff like that. And probably I'll remember songs from really old movies, contextual songs for some situation that is being discussed and stuff like that.
So you used your experience to bring it from watching cinema and your enjoyment to bring it to brands as well.
Oh yeah, umpteen times. In fact, partnering with movies, in film tie-ups, integration with content as on date. Been there, done that.
Yeah, but that's great. I mean, so a lot of consumer insights from movies.
Pretty much. So, see, if you look at it, like, right now the definition of movies has changed. But there was a not too long back, there was a scenario wherein movies used to either be the one end of the coin used to be it used to kind of drive trends, and the other end it used to actually be the reflection of the society. And so you kind of have a situation wherein you are kind of taking inspiration from movies. At the same time, you're kind of having a situation of learning from them, and picking up trends from there. So I think it works both ways here.
I understand. So, who's your favorite actor, by the way, and which is your favorite movie? In the Indian movie, could be Telugu,
Here
could be Tamil,
I
could be
can
Bengali.
watch Choti Si Baat
Amol Palekar.
probably like at any given point of the day, multiple times back to back, binge it like 10 times in a day. I just love that movie.
And your favorite actor?
Anil Palekar.
Amol Palekar, but in more current and more recent, not vintage, but more currency.
More recent, I kind of like Vicky Kaushal.
Okay. But coming back again now, with record-breaking box office collections of over 2,800 crore, of 6 of the biggest Hindi cinema movies, collectively starting with Brahmastra, Pathan, Gaddar 2, Jawan, and most recently Tiger 3 and Animal. How do you think marketers can leverage this to fuel growth for their brands?
Still, there are 2 or 3 approaches. So one is some of the titles will not lend themselves to allow you to do in-film types, because some of the stories are cut in such a manner that even if you would love to, you wouldn't want your brand to be seen in that space. The other way is you kind of do an association during the promotion leg of the movie, wherein you kind of have a co-branded promo with your brand. You end up promoting that, and you have access to the stars and other things for bites, or getting a customized brand message, and then you kind of support it in the cinema screens when the movie is being released.
Fantastic. So as per a Kantar India cross-media study from 2012 to 2023, of more than 125 case studies, one-third of impact in building brand awareness comes from TV across categories, including FMCG. How important is television to drive awareness for your brands?
So television continues to be a important medium for us. So while digital is kind of picking up, gaining traction, but television still continues to kind of hold the roots currently. Another thing is, all things said and done, yeah, digital will, while it's growing leaps and bounds and other things, it is also kind of having its own set of challenges. As marketeers, whether it's FMCG or non-FMCG or auto or anybody, everybody needs a proper or syndicated data and ROI calculation to come in. Today on digital, one of the key challenges continues to be that the maker, checker, executor is the same person. So if I have a plan and I say the plan is, let's say, to deliver 10 million impressions, I start an activity, I get a mail saying, okay, 10 million impressions delivered. I might have my trackers and other things, but I'm still dependent on the platform to execute my campaign and confirm to me like campaign is over. Then there are challenges with regards to the moment you start getting into a bit of sharp targeting, the challenges come in terms of frequency, because you might want to have that entire campaign being operated at a frequency of 6 or 5 or whatever, and you end up seeing the frequency deliveries going in 2 digits, 3 digits at time. So those are the challenges that the medium is facing. Whereas television, for whatever reason, over a period of time has evolved. You take a sample sizes, whatever number, but yeah, you know that the data is not too wrong here.
No, I understand. So you still swear by television, and it's very important to drive awareness.
It is important for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So ideally, what should be the mix that a marketer? Let's look at the world of television movie channels. So what should be how should a marketer look at these properties which are there? They have some big blockbuster premieres. They have good movies running on the channel. So how should a marketer divide his spends between all of these? Okay.
But yeah, just to kind of see, there is no winning formula or a template for breaking down your split, because depending on the category you're operating in, if you're in a mass category, your mix is more likely to be around 60 to 65% television, and the balance would be driven by digital. Maybe you would kind of shave off 2-3% of 5% for some other activities, whether it's print, whether it's out of home or whatever. Within television, you again follow a basic breakdown. Again, depending on your category, your breakdown could be you park some 10 to 15% for tactical buys, 5 to 10% for your impact buys, and balances for your base GRPs, if I would put it that way. So that's how a mix would kind of work out.
So the premiums would come under impact buys, your premiums.
Yeah, premiums would come under impact.
What about the RODP things, the movies on a movie channel?
Yeah, so see, what happens is your regular GRP buys account for a mix of GCs and movies any which ways.
Okay. So you're saying 15% is for your regular GRPs. How much is for regular GRPs?
So as I said, there's no thumb rule or anything as such, but I'm saying if your TV spend is about 100 rupees in totality, you ideally about a 10% is parked for impact, 10 to 12% is parked for impact. 5 to 10% is parked for tactical buys or something which you want to kind of consume as things happen. So I would say about 75 to 80% is your regular buys, your regular plan deliveries that you would anyways account for.
Okay, fantastic. So any last words around films on TV, movie channels, specialized Hindi, Indian cinema movie channels? Any last words you'd like to come up with? It's been great chatting with you. I got some great insights.
Yeah, I can only at this point of time sign off with a Hindi dialogue. जिंदगी छोटी नहीं, कामयाब होनी चाहिए.
Well said. This is from?
कोई तो हिंदी मूवी में था यार.
अच्छा, okay.
या तो कोई फ्यूचर मूवी में आ जाएगा ये डायलॉग अब.
Well said. Lovely chatting with you. It's been a pleasure, and thank you very much. Look forward to you, going into the cinema halls. One. Secondly, looking at the success formula that is coming into Indian cinema. Thank you very much, Jay.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. You have a wonderful evening and wonderful day and wonderful afternoon and wonderful everything.